Good evening and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our London studio. I'm Chris Taylor. We begin with developments on the diplomatic front, where U.S. President Donald Trump says Washington is very close to reaching a deal with Iran ahead of possible talks. Speaking with confidence, President Trump suggested that Tehran may agree to key demands, including giving up its enriched uranium stockpile and committing to not developing nuclear weapons. Talks are expected to resume soon, with Islamabad being considered as a Sambhavit venue. However, despite the optimism, significant disagreements remain, particularly over sanctions relief and verification mechanisms. Analysts caution that deep mistrust persists between the two sides, with a fragile ceasefire deadline adding further urgency to negotiations. Let's bring in our correspondent Sarah William in Islamabad for more on this developing story.
Thank you, Chris. Diplomatic sources here in Islamabad indicate that preparations are quietly underway in case the city is chosen to host the next round of U.S.-Iran talks. While officials have not confirmed a final date, there is cautious optimism that Pakistan could play a facilitative role in easing tensions. However, experts warn that both Washington and Tehran remain far apart on key technical issues, particularly verification and sanctions rollback. There is also concern that any misstep could quickly derail progress given the fragile regional security environment. For now, all eyes remain on whether both sides can translate rhetoric into tangible agreements.
Thank you, Sarah, for that update. Meanwhile, Iran has reacted strongly to recent U.S. statements regarding the Strait of Hormuz, calling them contradictory and misleading. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghaei accused Washington of reflecting what he described as desperation and helplessness, and of spreading false and inconsistent claims. He emphasized that decisions about the strait are made through practical measures on the ground, not influenced by statements made on social media, firmly rejecting any external pressure narratives. In a related development, Saudi Arabia and the United States have held discussions aimed at ensuring the Strait of Hormuz remains open and secure. According to the Saudi state news agency, Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke by phone, focusing on maintaining freedom of navigation through the strategic waterway. The conversation also addressed efforts to strengthen the ceasefire in Lebanon, with both sides underscoring the importance of continued coordination for regional peace and stability. Adding to the tension, ship tracking data has revealed unusual maritime movement in the Persian Gulf. Around 20 vessels, including container ships, bulk carriers, and oil tankers, have reportedly been heading towards exit routes via the Strait of Hormuz. According to Reuters, the movement has drawn attention due to the waterway's critical role in global energy transit, especially at a time of heightened geopolitical sensitivity. Back home, Prime Minister Shehbaz has expressed gratitude to U.S. President Donald Trump after the American leader praised him and Chief of Defense Forces Field Marshal Asim Munir as fantastic people. In a message posted on X, the Prime Minister thanked President Trump for his kind and gracious words, speaking on behalf of both the Pakistani people and the country's leadership. The exchange reflects ongoing positive diplomatic engagement between Islamabad and Washington. Turning to regional developments, India has decided not to move forward with a proposal that would have required smartphone manufacturers such as Apple and Samsung to pre-install the government's biometric ID app, Aadhaar, on devices. The Unique Identification Authority of India confirmed that the IT Ministry reviewed the proposal and declined to make it mandatory. The decision follows concerns raised by industry stakeholders over issues of security and compatibility. Aadhaar, a 12-digit biometric identification system, remains widely used across India for banking, telecom, and identity verification services, covering more than 1.3 billion people. And finally, in Southeast Asia, Myanmar has reduced the prison sentence of former leader Aung San Suu Kyi as part of a new presidential amnesty. According to her lawyer, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate's 27-year sentence has been cut by 1/6 following her conviction on multiple charges after the 2021 military coup. It remains unclear whether she will be placed under house arrest or remain in prison. Authorities have also announced a broader pardon for more than 4,000 prisoners as part of the latest amnesty initiative. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.